Hello friends, your good buddy Stubb. Welcome to day 9 of the Cork Heavy Adult Beverage Advent Calendar video series. Let's see what's behind the door today. All right, friends, you see today we have not one but 2 bottles of fine spirits. These are from Fry Ranch and Distillery in Fallon, Nevada. We have a bourbon here and we have a rye as well. Now, these were gifts brought to me by my good mate, Steve Knoll, who came to visit London earlier this year, rang me up before he visited, asked if there were any bottles I wanted him to bring, and I said, hey, can you surprise me maybe with a rye? Because rye whiskey is a little harder to come by here in the UK. So he brought me a bottle of rye, brought me a bottle of bourbon, brought me another bottle of bourbon as well, so, hell, that was a heck of a visit. We did a little tasting here at mine with these 3 and some others that I had in the cupboard before, well, one of our many, many nights out here in London. But let's go ahead and get to these drinks here. So the first one here, friends, is a bourbon. I'm getting, the brown sugar you would, you'd typically get on a bourbon. Nothing really on the way of fruit with this one. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, definitely sweet. This is a high corn in the mash bill on this one, so you definitely get that kind of fresh sweetness from the corn. You're getting that kind of, burnt brown sugar on there as well. It's a tasty little bourbon, actually. Quite an easy drinker. Now, as far as the rye here, on that one, I'm immediately getting the spice that you would expect from a nice rye. Let's give it a taste. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're getting that oaky vanilla and then that just bitey, tannic spice that you expect from a nice rye. I really do appreciate this rye. Once again, this is a proper rye, 50 ABV. So once again, I want to thank my good mate, Steve. He writes at Children of the Grapes about wine. He also writes for the Reno News and Review, I believe it's called. I know it's Reno News. I think it's Reno News and Review. Does their beverage and wine reviews for the paper there. So check out my good mate, Steve Knoll. Now, is that all we have for today? Nah, friends. Today we're making a cocktail, and we're going to make a cocktail using both of these whiskeys as soon as I get set up. All right, friends, anyone who knows me knows that my favorite cocktail ever is a Sazerac, so that's what we're going to be making today. I'm going to make this a little differently than maybe you are used to. So you order a Sazerac these days. In the States, it's generally going to be made with rye whiskey. If you're at a classy bar, what they're going to ask you is half and half when you say Sazerac, and normally you're going to say yes because it's half rye, half cognac as the spirit base. Today, we're actually going to use bourbon, rye, and cognac as our base here. So what we're going to start with is an absinthe wash of our glass. Please forgive that I don't have my proper pourers today, basically because I forgot to get them before I started the video. So there you go. So we're going to put some absinthe in a glass, a little bit of ice to chill it down. We'll go ahead and twirl that around just a little bit right there. We're going to set that aside. So now, to our beaker here. So once again, I'm going to use all of these. So we're going to start with some cognac, and I'm going to do 20 mils of each, actually, for this. So we'll have a 60 mil cocktail. That's about right there. And then we're going to take our rye. So once again, this would be a typical recipe here. Would be half and half with the rye and the cognac. But today, we're actually going to do each third parts with the bourbon. Add a little bit of that sweetness in there. So we're going to add the bourbon. Perfect there. All right, to that, we're going to throw in a sugar cube. We're going to add a couple of dashes of Peychaud's bitters, and then a single dash of Angot bitters. A lot of recipes won't call for both. I like a slight dash of the Angot in there myself. And then to that, we're going to add some ice. Once again, other than my pourers, I also forgot my ice cube here today. So then we're just going to sit here and stir the hell out of this cocktail right here. So, the Sazerac was indeed created in New Orleans, for those who don't know. Traditional recipes would have been full cognac in this, along with the bitters to make the drink. But due to phylloxera in the late 1800s, early 1900s, cognac was harder to come by, so it started being mixed with rye whiskey or bourbon whiskey to make the cocktail here. So we're going to stir this down quite a bit because of that sugar cube I put in there. If you don't have the cocktail sugar cubes, don't use don't use just like plain white sugar. A little simple syrup will work too. And with this here, we got 60 mils. I would put maybe 10 mils in there. And that's just a preference for me because I don't like an overly sweet Sazerac. All right, so we stirred the hell out of that right there. We're now gonna take that and get ready to pour. So with this here, we're gonna give one more rinse. We're gonna discard the ice. So now you just have that absinthe rinsed glass. Strain our drink into there. And then for a garnish, we're gonna use a lemon peel. We'll express it over. And I just like to drop it in there. Let's give this one a taste. Ooh. Now, friends, I'm gonna be real honest with you here. I've actually never made a Sazerac that included bourbon, or added bourbon instead. It works pretty well. Honestly, after doing this, I would stick with just the cognac and the rye personally. And once again, that's gonna be half and half. So for this one here, I've gone, well, because I'm sitting home alone and being festive, I'd have gone probably 30 and 30 on that myself. But once again, you get that little sweetness from the cognac, you get the punch from the rye, and of course the absinthe just gives it that lovely, lovely lift that this cocktail is so well known for. So once again, friends, this is one of my favorite cocktails ever. I don't mind having it, on its own on a night out. I don't mind having it after dinner. I don't mind having it with a cigar. Literally, I just pretty much never mind having a Sazerac in my hand. I mean, not first thing in the morning or anything, but, there's that. All right, friends, that brings us to today's holiday haiku. Here we go. Cognac rye absinthe, stirred down with a cube of sugar, makes a happy stub. All right, friends, as always, thanks for joining, watching, sharing, commenting. Let me know if you have a favorite Sazerac recipe. Once again, I used to make these just with rye and maybe a touch of cognac, but I've kind of come along to the half and half over the last several years. All right, friends, till tomorrow, remember to be nice, be safe, and be happy. Cheers, mates.